On January 3rd, 2021, something traumatic happened to me very early in the morning. The night before, I was laughing and eating cake with my parents, not thinking anything bad was going to happen hours later. At 3:26 a.m., my mother came into my room, telling me to go outside and wait for the ambulance. My heart sunk to my stomach when she said my father was sick. The sight of an ambulance, or even just the sound, triggers my memory back to that moment. My dad had a brain aneurysm, which is basically a stroke. He became paralyzed on the right side of his body, causing him to feel useless. He was in the hospital for a whole month. My mindset completely changed, and even though I had my siblings there with me, I felt alone. I didn't go one night without breaking down into tears. I had a friend who would distract me from it all. Every day he came to my house, not even knowing the situation, and distracted me from even the thought of my dad in the hospital. But once I was alone, I couldn't help but cry. I would visit the hospital and talk on the phone with my dad, and once he was home, I saw nothing but him. He never changed his personality. My dad is a very independent man and does everything for himself. To this point, he didn't realize how much help he was going to need. My dad is my world. Our biggest connection is softball, besides me being his daughter, but that's our bond. The day before, January 2nd, 2021, my dad had taken me to the field to do some BP. We laughed and joked around, but we got our work in, and he was so proud of me because it was a good practice. When he was in the hospital, I didn't stop practicing and would send him videos so he didn't feel like he was letting me down. Continuing my junior year was a struggle for me because it was also the start of my spring season. Every time I stepped on the field, it was for him. I even wrote his name on my arm in eye black so I knew that whenever I'd make an error or struck out, he was yelling at me to do better. It was very hard to play knowing he wasn't in the stands. Most athletes don't want their parents yelling at them every time they messed up, but I started to miss it. After every game, I would go into his room, sit on the floor, and tell him about every minute of the game. I couldn't be selfish knowing the struggles he had to go through every hour of the day, not being his fully functioning self. This was a big eye-opener for me, to not take life for granted. My dad is my number one, my hero, and the man that never left my side. I got his birthday tattooed on my arm and always look at it when I need the strength to get through tough times, because I know that he's been through the absolute most. I love my dad so much, and he's the one person who impacted me through all my 17 years of life. When they say live every day like it's your last, they really mean it. Since then, I tried taking every day, playing every game like it was going to be my last. When my dad would go to get his checkups, the doctors say that he's healthy and in great shape to keep doing what he's doing. Even though he called cupcakes his prescription, he was in perfect health. Then he randomly gets sick. We don't know what caused it. Most people just think life is life and they are invincible. I'm sure my dad thought that, but then he thought karma was coming back to him. It wasn't karma. Maybe it was a lesson to show us not to take anything for granted. My dad lived the best life, and if you heard his stories, you'd think the same. I wish it didn't have to happen to him. I'd say that to myself every night. But my dad taught me to look at the positives. He taught me that things are going to happen in life that we are not going to like, but it's how we learn and how we handle it that makes us the people we are. We are all starting a new chapter in our lives that is going to be filled with joys, disappointments, and a whole lot of grown-up choices. There are going to be times where we are going to feel overwhelmed, but we have to look at the positives and all of the obstacles that we have overcame to get where we are, like my dad. Remember, every obstacle just makes you stronger. If I'm going to take anything with me when I leave MVA, it is to live life to the fullest and enjoy every moment of every day.